Hello everyone, this is Matthew Frailey with BreakpointTrades.com. This is a technical review of the general markets, indexes, indicators, sectors, bonds, commodities, and of course our mechanical trading systems. And it's Wednesday, June 28th, 2023. Again, going back to the website, again, it's BreakpointTrades.com with two T's. One thing I've been discussing is our proprietary KISS trend following systems. So today, for example, on the major indexes, we had three new smart trailing stops generated. One for the triple Qs. Smart trailing stop moves up from 348.60 to 353.30. Not a huge jump, but it just ratcheted it up constantly. Same for DIA and IWM. And you could see when the systems went long there. Triple Qs back in early March. Heck of a trade. And again, you can access these guys right from the website. Go to Systems, go to KISS STS Tables. And when you go there, our KISS systems are run. We have a basket where we have the four major indexes, some of these mega cap stocks like Apple and Nvidia, stuff like that. And you can find when it originally went long. Like today, it's colored, so these are the new smart trailing stops that are generated. And triple Qs, this is the 12th in the trend. And the system since entry on March 15th would be up 22%. The DIA and IWM are basically flat, not surprising, because they just went long back in early June, so a few weeks back. But you can see some of these others just outstanding. Meta would be up almost 150%, and it's been at a raise at stop 27 times. Okay. For Nvidia, it's up 143%. When you look at some of these percentage gains, it's pretty amazing. And again, these are all available for all the NASDAQ 100 stocks, all the S&P 500 stocks, over 100 ETFs. Some of these ETFs are pretty crazy. FNGU up 101% since the March 21st entry. And you can also click on Popular. And what Popular is, this will show you the top favorites for everyone. And I need to discuss the favorites here. So going back to the favorites, if you're a subscriber, you need to be a subscriber. You'll be able to set favorites by clicking on the star. So let's say I click on the Qs. See, it'll keep it. And then you can go to favorites and it'll be listed right there. And you could also see other people's favorites. So pretty cool stuff. If you haven't done so, you should subscribe to BreakpointTrades.com. Check out our 6-month membership. Again, no one has anything like this. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe. Now let's get back to the general market newsletter. So again, this is a newsletter update for June 28th, 2023, midweek. And this is my back-end recorder, so I'm going to go ahead and start this for our subscribers. Hello everyone, this is Matthew Frailey with BreakpointTrades.com. This is the Wednesday, June 28th newsletter. Tonight's newsletter, as you can see, divided into 6 major sections. And by the way, I did add some new trade ideas, guys. We've had some great trade ideas, so I added 4 new trade ideas tonight. Several of the ideas that haven't triggered still remain. By the way, really cool updates to the KISS systems. I discuss it here in the newsletter and in the video, so make sure you're listening to that. As far as the market today, very choppy day, as you know. It was down, it was up, and it was ended up closing basically flat. So wild action. The positive on the market would be that we completed a 4th wave, and we're going to go up to a new 5th wave high. And so let's go ahead and get started here. Item number 2 shows the index sector table, what transpired today and this week. So far the indexes are up for the week. The Russell's leading, up 2%. Today was a bifurcation with the Dow and S&P down, while the NASDAQ area was slightly up. Again, small moves here overall. As far as the 21 market sectors we follow, more were up than down, but no big moves here. Utilities had a big pullback, not surprising. But otherwise, minor moves here. Everything here was either up or down less than 1%. Currencies, US dollar had a big rally back today, up 0.5% almost. Cryptocurrencies they had a big breakout last week and they've been consolidating here. Commodities, mostly to the downside with that strong dollar, as you can imagine. Crude oil was up pretty nicely today, as gasoline. Every other commodity here was down now, and precious metals, they remain weak. Gold, silver, GDX, the stocks are leading down, and the stocks lead, guys. Like I said, you need to see the stocks leading before you want to take a long on this area, and that's what I need to see. And at the bottom, we had some pullback in the 10-year, 30-year. Next, item number 3 shows the economic news calendar. Tomorrow is the 29th. We have the initial jobless claims, GDP, pending home sales, and natural gas inventories. And let's go ahead and jump to this newsletter. So, before we get into the general market, so here is an image right from the website. You go to systems and you go to the KISS tables. This is what the new tables are going to look like. And so if you look here, this is from the BPT basket. You can see the shaded area. DIA, IWM, triple Qs had new smart trailing stops today. If you look at the very right hand side, we added a current profit. So you can see the triple Qs entry, system entry, be up over 22%. Not bad. And that's from the March 15th entry. The DIA and IWM are essentially flat, not surprising, because they only went long a couple weeks back on June 6th and 8th. And if you look some of these others, Amazon up 26%, Meta up 149% from entry from the system, Nvidia up 143%. Nice moves on these. What's this other one? AVGO up 68%. Remember, you can now set favorites, and then eventually we're adding the email notification. So whenever something changes to your favorites, there's a new smart trailing stop, something like that, the backend will automatically be to email you and notify you. Again, this is all proprietary to Breakpoint Trades. It's a trend following type of system that is non-curve fit. It works on mostly any instrument. Like anything, it's not perfect, but it's pretty damn good. No one else has it. It's exclusive to Breakpoint Trades, and valuable resource. Hope you guys start utilizing this. Again, we're still working on it. Next, chart number 5. Here's the 4 major indexes. Again, you can see, except for the S&P, we got new smart trailing stops generated on the triple Qs. It moves up from 348.60 to 353.30. One on IWM moves up just slightly, and one on DIA. Nice seeing these continually ratchet up. Again, the nice thing about the KISS systems, guys, because there's a lot of talk about the market. Are we in a new bull market? Is this a stealth bear market that's going to trap everyone eventually? I don't know. Market's going to do anything at once. But you know what? If the market is literally climbing a wall worry, and if it does go to new all-time highs and we have some major blow off in the market, the systems will catch it. But if something happens and we get a big rug pull in the market sometime this fall and you get a big downside correction, the systems will get you out. That's the nice thing. You don't have to guess with the market. The systems will catch the trend regardless of what happens. Okay. Next, chart number 6. Here's another image from the KISS systems. This is the Mega 10. These are the ones that are long. Remember, the Tesla stop was hit yesterday. So again, look at these gains, percent gains that these are up. So remember, you have these tabs at the top: NASDAQ, S&P, ETFs, and of course, besides your favorites button, there's also the popular. And what that is that you can see the the most popular favorites that people have set. We thought that was a useful feature. Next, chart number 7. Here's Apple. Just wanted to point out there's not a new smart trailing stop for Apple. By the way, it went long there in January, you can see. And we have to look at the Mega 10 to see what it's up. So the system on Apple would be up about almost 35% from that January 23rd entry. Okay. But anyway, smart trailing stop 178. But one thing reason I'm showing you this is we have a DeMark 13 today. So that's notable. Okay. Doesn't mean reverse there, but there is a DeMark 13. Okay, let's get back to the major indexes. So image number 8 shows you the 4 key major indexes. Again, I talked about this on Monday, how the S&P and NASDAQ had pulled back to those middle Bollinger Bands, and we've logically found some support there. By the way, in case you didn't know, the middle Bollinger Band is essentially the 20-day moving average. Next, moving on to the S&P, which is our proxy. So here's the S&P. We put in that really good trade bottom in there in early October. We've been uptrending here. Chart's kind of messy here, a bunch of lines, but basically, useful. You got these confluence of trend lines and channels. I talked about Monday how price had pulled back to the confluence of these trend lines, 20-day moving average, and so far we've bounced off of there. This whole boxed area is kind of a supply zone, so, working up into this. My thought maybe for this year, again, unless we go to new all-time highs, we'll work up higher into July, and then maybe we'll have some sort of correction sometime in August. Just a guess. We'll see what happens. Again, we'll trade whatever happens. We project, monitor, and we adjust. Okay, and the KISS systems do the same thing. Next, chart number 10. Here's a zoomed in view of the daily. Again, it pulled back near that 20-day moving average where it's finding some support. Logical pullback from that upper channel line last week. Next, chart number 11. Here's the daily KISS trend system. Again, we already discussed this, but smart trailing stop still up there around 42.90. Next, chart number 12. Here's the 4 time frames. Again, I talked about on Monday that ATR in the daily, which we bounced near it. We didn't quite tag it. We had the bullish pullback that showed up yesterday, and price bounced on the half day. You could see we had a top right at that DeMark 13 about a week ago. That was a nice area to pull back from. We're below the ATR in these time frames, that in 130 minute. Next, chart number 13. Here's a half day chart. Again, it shows the same channel where we stalled at that resistance. Again, the way these channels work, guys, it's simply a parallel line. We mark the bottom here, clone the upper line. We tagged that perfectly with a black candle. So we had a little 5 RSI divergence. See how that black candle would have just been an excellent short right there? That's technical analysis, guys. Just a great example of technical analysis. One could have taken a very low risk short right there with a tight stop. If you're wrong, you don't lose much, but you have a great place for a stop, good risk reward. Anyway, we're in the middle of the channel. Next, chart number 14. Here's a 2-hour chart essentially showing the same thing. If we do get another sell-off, there is a demand zone down into this area, 4,300-ish area. Again, the bullish view would be that we put in a 4th wave and we're going up again. It's not confirmed yet. Next, chart number 15. Here's a 60-minute chart. This is the potential wave count where we completed a wave 4 pullback on Monday, and we're now going up, and we're gonna make a new high in a wave 5 of some sort. And again, this is still not confirmed, but if someone's long the S&P, again, you could really just have it stop right there at that low, 43.25 or so. Next, chart number 16. Here's a 30-minute chart still in this overall channel. Let's watch this tomorrow, see if we can break out of it or not. Here's the fibs as well to monitor. Next, chart number 17. Here's a 30-minute view. I showed this falling wedge on Monday, and we popped out of it on Tuesday. You have sort of a little inverse head and shoulder look to it here as well. Next, chart number 18. Here's another 15-minute chart. Again, we popped out of that channel. We had a symmetry break. This was a little demand zone which we've held so far. Next, moving on to the triple Qs, chart number 19, daily triple Qs. We bounced off we tagged the 20-day moving average on Monday, which I said would be a support, and so far we've bounced off of it. Next, chart number 20. Here's the KISS trend system. Like I said, we got a new smart trailing stop today, moving up from 348.60 to 353.30. Next, chart number 21. Here's the 4 time frames. Again, we had that on the half day. We had that bullish pullback. Prices bounced there. We're still below the ATR on those time frames. Next, chart 22. Here's the 2-hour view. Again, so far we've bounced back. We're testing this channel. We did not break support or the symmetry, and I didn't talk about symmetry above. I talked about that on Monday, but we didn't break symmetry, uptrend symmetry on the S&P either. Anyway, so far we're bouncing. The bulls need to get price back above these trend lines though. Next, chart 23. Here's a 30-minute chart. You got a sort of a wedge which we popped out of yesterday, holding that so far. Yesterday's high though stalled at the 61 fib. Next, chart 24. Here's IWM small caps. As you know, they've been lagging overall. There have been range bound in this big coil forming for the last 10 months or so. Next, chart 25. Here's the daily chart. Again, just played out absolutely beautiful, guys. Back here in March, April, we were talking about this area down here being a wave D. We said you could be long with a stop below this pattern. And we drew this area as a supply zone as a target, and lo and behold, price rallied right up into that. So far, we've bounced back a little bit. Notice the 9 EMA is pinching with the 20 here. Finally, chart 26, there's a 30-minute chart. Remember I talked about this channel on Monday where we popped out of it yesterday, held that. All right, guys, that does it for the indexes. Again, we'll see if we put in a fourth wave low or not. Again, if you are long, area for a stop, or you could follow the KISS systems, whatever fits your style. Next, moving on to some of the indicators. Chart 27, here's the VIX. Again, VIX basically stalled right at its middle Bollinger Band on Monday. Still weak overall. Next, chart 28. Here's another chart of the VIX. Just something to keep an eye on. This potential wedge that could be forming if the VIX does try to rally again. Something to watch for. Next, chart 29. Here's a 60-minute view of the VIX. Still overall respecting this little downtrend channel. Finally, chart 30. Here's the NYSE indicator. NYSE McClellan summation, and I have it plotted as a weekly and plotted as with 5-3 stochastic behind it. Down below here is the S&P 500, and you get some pretty nice triggers whenever this stochastic gets oversold and overbought. Again, just getting oversold is you don't go long on that. You need a trigger, and so I show the trigger on the NYSE here. So your trigger is taken out, say, the high of that candle. Same way here, here. Sell signals up here. Right now, you'd be on the watch for a little sell signal. But anyway, interesting little indicator. Let's move on. Follow up on the sectors. Chart 31. Here's XLK. Again, bounced off the 20-day moving average, just like the NASDAQ. Next, chart 32, XLC, still holding this steep uptrend channel, bounced off the 20-day moving average yesterday. Again, you can see where the smart trailing stop would be for XLC on the KISS systems. Actually, let me go ahead and do that now. So on the video here, hit ETFs and hit XLC. Type it in there. You can see XLC right here. Smart trailing stop is currently at 62.30. You can click on the chart symbol here, and you can see it right here. Here's the KISS system. Pretty cool, huh? Next, chart 33, XLF financials overall still just lagging. Next, chart 34, banks, same deal. They're still struggling. Next, now what's been strong are the utilities, as we've been stating for the last couple weeks. Utilities broke out of this nice little bull flag on Monday. Really nice follow through. Next, chart 36, there's the zoomed out view, breaking out of this big ascending triangle pattern. Next, chart 37, jets, that's the airlines in the transports, and you can see how well this is done. Huge rally yesterday from that little pullback fourth wave. Next, some other names that we had: Charter 38, American Airlines. I had this as a long idea back in early June. Resistance was 15 bucks, played out nicely. Next, Charter 39, Home Builders. What can I say? They still remain in fuego here. Amazing. Next, Charter 40, here's XLE Energy, still hanging in here. I do like how this sector is hanging in here. Keep an eye on it. The KISS systems aren't long at this point, but keep an eye on these. Next, Charter 41, Oil Services, also hanging in there. All right, moving on to commodities. Charter 42, DBC, the commodity index ETF, so far this week down about 1.8%, retagging its 200-week moving average. Again, the dollar was up today pretty strongly, so commodities mostly down. Next, the commodity that was up today was crude oil. Here's the weekly, but let's look at the daily. Charter 44, there's the daily. You can see still hanging on to this little channel support. Okay. By the way, I don't like to get political here, but the Biden administration, if you recall, last year sold a bunch of the U.S. strategic oil. Well, surprisingly, they haven't replenished that. And I'm asking why. Crude oil is lower than where they sold it, much lower. Why haven't they bought it back yet? It just seems asinine to me, you know. Anyway, but realize that they eventually do need to buy that back. They need to buy it now versus waiting for it to go, back into the 100 area. Next, Charter 45, natural gas, logically pulling off of this top of this little range. Okay, I do like the base it's forming, so I would be on the lookout for a buy opportunity sometime in this pullback. Next, Charter 46, DBA Agriculture. After almost a symmetry move, we had this as a long idea back there in May. I hope you took profits. It's pulled back all the way to its 50-day moving average. Now, if you like this area longer term, this could be a low-risk reentry. Next, following up with bonds and rates, Charter 47, here's the 10-year. Down a little bit today overall, still in the bigger channel and still in a little coil pennant inside the channel. Next, Charter 48, TLT, still in the same pattern as well. Remember, the two move inverse to one another. Next, moving to Bitcoin, Charter 49, Bitcoin. Again, beautiful breakout last week from this wedge, just consolidating, still above the 9 EMA. Next, Charter 50, here's the weekly view of Bitcoin. Why did Bitcoin rally this year so far? Well, obviously the market rallied, but we had a nice falling wedge last year, which we showed. One potential target would be this 38% fib retracement over time. Next, Charter 50, Bido, that's one of the Bitcoin leveraged ETFs that obviously had a beautiful pop out of here, consolidating sideways. Next, Charter 52, Mara. Remember I talked about this, very choppy range that it was in. I said breaking out of this range would give you a nice long opportunity, and it did. Nice pop out of that area. Next, Charter 53, MSTR, one of the Bitcoin type stocks. Again, it broke out of this pattern, pulled back, retested it as support. That was a good area to go long. If the area does have another pop, this looks like a low risk. It could have a trailing stop essentially at Monday's lows there. Next, Charter 54, US dollar. In the dollar, you can see up today 0.4% overall in this potential big coil that's setting up. Again, dollar's up today, so most commodities were down. Let's move to the precious metals. Charter 55, gold, down yet again only slightly. Some positives I'm seeing here, guys. We do have 3 waves to the downside, okay, ABC, right? We have some positive divergence on the 5 RSI. We're also near a confluence of fibs. What I mean by that is if you draw fibs from the October-November low to the May high, you have the 38% fib there at 1908. And if you draw fibs from the February low to the May highs, you have the 61.8 fib at just right around the same area, just slightly above it. So you have a bunch of fibs here, something to be aware of. But again, I need to see a reversal. I need to see a trigger. Maybe I want to see a break of this RSI trend line. Maybe I want to see a good strong up candle here. I want to see the stocks lead, right? Again, I do think gold will rally again, but I need to have it show me. But I am watching this three-wave pullback. Next, chart 56. Here's the ETF GLD. Again, same thing applies. You do have an open gap here, so if we do get another downside move, that could be a target. Realize that. Next, chart 57. Here's a 2-hour view of gold. You do have a little MACD divergence here at the moment. Next, chart 58. Silver. Again, you have, just like on gold, three-wave pullback, A, B, C, and uptrends, long-term uptrends. I like to buy three-wave pullbacks. So again, if you wanted to be long silver, you could have a stop just below that 2214 area, or you could wait for confirmation. You know. Next, chart 59, GDX, the miners. So again, they are still leading down, and they always lead. So that's why I'm not biting yet on gold. GDX is retesting its 200-day moving average here. We'll see if it can bounce off that or not. Note, there is an open gap from March. That could be a magnet. These gaps like to be filled. So some triggers, possible triggers long that I would potentially take a position on would be a good reversal up candle, would be a break of this RSI trend line or this channel, things like that. Next. Chart 60, here's another GDX daily chart. This one has the GDX GLD ratio, so this measures if the stocks are leading or the metal's leading, and you can see the stocks have been leading down since that May high, so that's why this is important. But you have a trend line right on the ratio here and on RSI. A breach of both of these trend lines and this channel, to me, that would be an excellent confirmation to go long. Next, chart 61, GDXJ. Going to monitor this as well. This one isn't some sort of fifth wave down, but again, it's below its 200-day moving average. We need to see a reversal here or a trigger on something. Not getting it. Next, chart 62. Here's a 60-minute view of GDX. Again, you do have some active divergence for the moment, but I don't see any trigger. Next, chart 63. SIL, that's the silver ETF. Same deal. You have potentially 5 waves down. But again, and you have RSI divergence here, but I want to see some trigger on one of these trend line breaks on the RSI or the ratio or the channel, whatever. Next, chart 64, RGLD, one of these, the major ones that I've been showing. Again, it's down into the supply zone or demand zone. There's another demand zone down here. If this is lost, again, I need to see some reversal here. But I am monitoring these. And let's go ahead and move on to the other trade ideas. Chart 65, Google. I commented on Monday, watch for support at the 50-day moving average, and you can see it's bouncing right off of here. Next, chart 66, Nvidia. Nvidia has been the hot stock this year. The KISS system's up like almost 150% on it, but it's been weak short term here. Here's a couple patterns we're monitoring as well. Next. Okay, had to refresh that. The image wasn't showing up. So here's the NVIDIA KISS system. Again, you can see how it went long back there in basically mid-January. Still long. Getting close to the smart trailing stop. Hasn't been hit yet. 392. Next. Chart 68, IONQ, one of our long ideas. By the way, this was a long idea of ours back in May. Gave a nice trade. Consolidated again. And look at this puppy. Really, again, we've had some amazing trade ideas here, guys. I hope you're playing them. Next, chart 69, SES. This was a new one I put out on Monday. I liked the channel and nice volume. That was your key. Nice move up the last couple days. Take some profits up at this area. That's the first resistance. Next, chart 70, AOS. Remember, this was a long idea of mine on Monday, a new one. Nice pop yesterday. Next, chart 71, IDXX, one from Steve. I had it on Monday's newsletter as well. Tried to trigger today. Closed back below the trend line, but looks fine to me. If you did go long, where would a good swing stop go? I would think right below yesterday's lows there. Next, Jarbor 72, Carvana. Man, this puppy's had a heck of a move. Broke out of a bull flag today again. Next, Jarbor 73, Sound, one of these AI type plays. This was a long idea of ours a week ago. This thing continues to power up. Next, Jarbor 74, SEMO, has been an amazing long from May. Big move up yesterday, finally pulling back. I said on Monday that this gap up would have been an area where it may be getting exhausted, and it looks like it is. Next, Jarbor 75, ATEC, another one that has done amazing. Again, your confirmation was this big volume break, increase in volume on the breakout. Next, Jarbor 76 DO, this is Diamond Offshore energy play. It did pop out of here. It hasn't powered up. Notice you don't have the big volume up bars here. So, not the typical expansion in price with volume. Price did stall at the recent highs. Pulling back, I suggested maybe a stop right there around 12. Hasn't been hit yet. Next, Jarbor 77 LRCX, another bull pennant of ours that played out amazing. Next, Jarbor 78 MDXG, another one is still hanging in here, but it's not powering up, so this is one I would not give much room to. It needs to get going. Next, Jarbor 79 UNM, one that popped yesterday, holding that so far. Next, Jarbor 80 CLSK, one that's been on the list. It's just consolidating into this big potential coil. We'll watch. We'll see if it finds some support down here near these confluence and moving averages or not. Could be an area to try along with a tight stop. Next, Jarbor 81 DBI broke out of the pennant. I'm still wondering if it can make it up to the 200-day moving average. Still looks okay. Next, setups that had not yet triggered. Jarbor 82 ADMP. I love this base that's forming. I like the volume patterns here. Resistance is around this 240 area. You could try an aggressive entry over that little trend line inside the channel if that's broken. Next, Jarbor 7083 CPRT. It's been on the list as a breakout. Still valid, but you do have a MACD kiss here with a stochastic overbought, so be a little cautious on this one. Next, Jarbor 84. Here's a new one, TMC. Big move up today. Expansion volume. Potential bull flag. Next, Jarbor 85 RMTI, pennant setting up. Again, a nice increase in volume today over the average. Next, Jarbor 86 VTEX, breakout setting up. I like the increase in volume today. Finally, Jarbor 87 JEF, nice up move. I didn't add any trend lines on here. I like the increase in volume. I like the intraday chart. So let's see if this one can take out that 33.50 tomorrow for a trade. All right, guys, that'll do it. We will see what happens tomorrow. And quick check on futures here. Let's see, futures. ES futures are up 9 points from the close. All right, guys, have a wonderful evening, and thanks for all your support to Breakpoint Trades. By the way, on these videos, please hit the like button. That helps us gain visibility. I'm trying to gain subscribers on the YouTube so that we can grow this channel. All right, have a wonderful evening.